Hey Legionnaires, and welcome back. We're starting with a bit of action here. There's some Russian lancers already taking out some hussars here of France. But what a way to start off today's historical battle with the Battle of Mormant, which is a 1814 battle between France, Russia, Bavaria, and I believe also Austria are in this one as well. So yeah, it should be a really, really exciting one. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's a historical scenario that we did on the channel, on the stream a little while ago, a few weeks ago. And yeah, it was a really, really fun one. I really enjoyed this one. I always love 1814. I love sort of like the scenario of sort of like, and like the situation of Napoleon, sort of like having his back to the wall, but almost kind of being back to his best. You know, like in the 6 days sort of campaign, he ends up winning. Yeah, well, six battles in 6 days or something like that. It's something crazy. So yeah, insane. We do have the young guard here. The boys hoping to be, get promoted into the old guard, become part of the, the Imperial bodyguard. I mean, they sort of are already part of it. Then we've got Mortier back here with the Grenadiers of the Guard. We've got all of them, the first and the second. What else? We've got Chasseurs of the Guard as well. We've got Fusilier Grenadiers. We've got plenty of nasty units here. We've got some chaff as well going around, which is always good to see. And of course, if I can find it, there it is, Ladue itself as well. So yeah, in this battle here, we do have a whole selection of different sort of 1814 corps. We are using exclusively 1814 corps. We have Ney here with the Young Guard. We have the Mortier on this side as well. So we have the two Guard armies here. And then over on the other side over here, we do have Mason, who's not actually at this battle, but it's kind of for balancing. He's actually busy in sort of like Belgium and like the Low Countries, trying to hold on to power there. And then we have Victor as well as the other sort of French army. The actual sort of commanders at this battle, Victor was here, Napoleon was there, Gerard, Kellerman, and Milhaud. I mean, Kellerman and Milhaud are both cavalry commanders, so it's a shame that it isn't like maybe like a bit of a cav army for 1814. I feel like that could kind of be appropriate because sort of like the cavalry corps is like its own sort of corps in itself. But yeah, it's the 2nd Corps and the Reserve of Paris and the 5th and 6th Cavalry Corps at this battle. But Napoleon would have had the Guard with him. They were very, very often always by his side. But yeah, in this battle we do have some commanders. I mean, Schwarzenberg's credited as being this one, but he's not actually at this battle at all. The actual sort of Austrian commander is a chap called Anton von Hardegg. So we're using, and he's part of Bianchi's corps. So we're using Bianchi's 1814 corps for this scenario. We have also got Peter de la Motte, who's a Bavarian. So he brought Reed's 5-pointer. I think it's a 5-pointer Bavarian, which is pretty weak, but it is also actually a very strong 5-pointer. I feel like you can bring a lot for it. And then we have Wittgenstein as well, who I think we do have Wittgenstein here, or it's Vincennegrode. I can't remember. It's maybe Vincennegrode, and then also a different Russian army. I can't remember off the top of my head. And yeah, Vincennegrode and Paul and like the Russian commanders at this battle, and they've already set up a really nice defensive point. And the guns disappear, but it's right in front of these stakes. So yeah, it should be very, very exciting. But yes, in history, this battle was a French victory. The French take only about sort of 600 to 800 losses, and they inflict about 2,500 to maybe 3,000 losses on the Allied forces. I mean, they vastly outnumber the Allied forces as well. I mean, it's very much a surprise attack on the coalition. Is this one? Parlin believes that he's facing a very small force, and actually he ends up kind of getting jumped by the entirety of well, most of the French field army, made up of Napoleon and Victor, as they move towards him. But yeah, this battle is also known as the Battle of Valjean, I believe, as well, which is one of the towns that they're fighting over. So Valjean, I think, is this town over here, and then the other town over on this side here is, I think, Mormant. So these are the two LOCs that have to be taken. So this one over here. So yeah, it's these two central 1-pointers. So I've enlarged the map so you guys can see. So they're the two ones that need to be taken in this battle here for either side to win. If you hold one or the other, you don't win. So yes, it already looks like there is stuff in here. I think the Russians have probably put some maybe guerrilla units or maybe a skirmisher or something like that. They put that in there. It doesn't look like it's anything insane. But yeah, at this time, the French armies are trying to sort of combine together. So Parlin is kind of like given the job of trying to deny that a little bit. And he ends up running into what is a much larger force than he intended. And we've got Trilliers who are going to be sent in. Young Guard, they're not necessarily that great at shooting. Sorry, at melee. They're much better at shooting. I wouldn't say they're necessarily great at shooting either. But they're okay. They're good all-rounders, I would say. But they're going in. They actually are taking on a line infantry unit in there. And we are going to see another Trillier unit here. Just try and shoot into the side of the building, I guess, try and lower the morale of the Russians. It looks like the Bavarians and the Austrians are on this side here. They seem like they've been quite slow in maneuvering up to this position. The French did have to wait 5 minutes, as the other Allied forces, apart from one of the Russian players. One of the Russian players was allowed to set up in the towns, which represent Parlin's command. And I think that's the building taken already. There you go. Look at that. France already taking one building. Very anticlimactic, as the Voltigeurs there just gunned down their own troops. I don't think they actually managed to kill anyone. That's concerning for their accuracy. And they're doing it again over here. Stop blasting your boys. I think it's because the Russians are coming out of the building. But yeah, so Parlin is sort of like the Russian sort of like rear guard, I guess, and sort of like when they run into the French, it's like, oh, we need to get out of here. And as the battle goes on, the Austrians and the Bavarians come into the battle more because the French actually kind of push past the Russians, and they kind of just blitz them. So they end up kind of like retreating to the Russians into Bavarian and Austrian positions. But in this one, we're just kind of allowing the Austrians and the Bavarians to come forward rather than just, you know, like let the Russians get killed off. So kind of both sides are just racing for the LOCs. Yeah, the other Russian army still on its way. The Bavarian and the Austrian ones weren't quick enough, it seems, to get here in time. But yeah, so I mean, it looks like this French army over here is going to have a fight with the Russians. They are not going to have an easy time here, that's for sure. Yeah, if you want to learn more about this battle, it's definitely worth looking up. It's a pretty unknown 1814 battle, that's for sure. And to be honest, I'm trying to remember a bit more of the details about it off the top of my head, and it is not coming to mind. So yeah, definitely, if you want to learn more about it, I'd give it a Google, learn a bit about it yourself. But we are going to try and recreate it as best as possible, at least. And yeah, if you want to see more NTW3 battles on the channel, then do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're around here, and a comment show support to help out the channel. Got some foolish lances here as well, one of my favourite sort of units. They're being moved forward. I think this is, yeah, I think they're two separate units. Yeah, I was going to say there's more than 53 horsemen there. But yeah, the Young Guard brought a lot of lances. Got the red lances over on this side as well, and we've got the second Eclairs, which are a guard unit, I believe. But yeah, oh, these aren't lances actually. Sorry, these are the Chevalier Savants. These are the chasseurs of the guard. So yeah, very very cool unit as well. But I think they can bring the red lances. But they didn't choose to. Yeah, as you can see here, already the Young Guard passing through Mormant. Valjoune still to be fought over. But yeah, Mormant here taken, and now they can kind of just press on to the Austrians. It's like there is the next position to try and take is this one back here. It's the 4 point. This actually is another objective, but taking the 1 points are kind of the main objectives. So in the scenario, we were like, well, you have to take the first 2 1 points, and then you can either go and support, like you can take your 1 point, you can either then go and support your ally and take the other one, or you can move on to the 4 pointer back here. So either is an option. So yeah, this is looks like the French over here at least are already pressing on. They're going to chase Austria and Bavaria. It looks like back to the 4 point. I mean, if they chase them back too far, you know, Austria and Bavaria need to kind of like, they need to nice it. They need to like keep themselves in distance so that they're not too far away from the French. The French might then go, oh, actually, we'll go for the Russians rather than we'll carry on chasing you guys because we're not going to catch you. They want to kind of stay in the distance that they can actually, you know, keep up a fight, maybe have a few volleys and then retreat, just kind of bait them out. That's for sure. But yeah, so yeah, the French. I'm just rereading the rules of the scenario, and yeah, the French, as I was correct, have to take all through. They can take the 2 1 points, then it's a minor victory. If they can take the 4 points, a major victory. I guess if they wipe everyone out, that's a major victory as well. But if it ever comes down to LOC, which some battles do, NTW retreat does happen. We've got Marines here going in, or at least attempting to go in, and this is like Russian Grenadiers. We've got Guard Nationals being sent in here. A lot of meleeing going on over here, and actually a lot of line fights that have been lost as well. Looks like these Leguer here getting blasted. Problem is as well with the French units, and generally most 1814 units in this period, they're all quite small. Sort of like the biggest ones are like your more untrained troops. We've got Trilliers here. Oh, this is Mason. Yeah, he has some Young Guard as well. I forget about that. But yeah, he's arriving with some more Young Guard being provided. I'd say his are even worse than Ney's. We're going to see Cavalry come forward here from the Russians. Most of these guys are tied down. The Veterans is a big unit. 187-man unit is one of the better ones available for size. And as you can see, Hussars coming in, and they're going to charge straight in. And they're redlining those veterans. I mean, they may be veterans of several battles, but they haven't learned how to square, and they're going to get farmed down there. That's for sure. Already, look at this. Mason forced to fall back here. Got a Hussar. I think this is the Hussar's already routed once. Going in once again, he's going to try and challenge the Russians. The Russians form square here. It's actually not a hollow square, but like a pike square almost. And look at that. France already having so much success on the other side, but already losing out pretty badly on this flank here. We have seen a little bit of an engagement here as well. Russian infantry. Oh, that's the routing unit, I think. I'm going to see Young Guard actually go in here. They're charging with the Voltigeurs. Against, looks like some allied troops here. They're redlining. Does some pretty good damage, though, of those Austrians to these Voltigeurs. Got right in their face of the Voltigeurs, and they didn't look like they were winning these gunfights. Yeah, they're not really at all. So Austria, I feel like if they can get themselves in a good position and in a line fight against these Young Guard, which supposedly, you know, they're shooting guys, then they set themselves a pretty good chance. I mean, also, I think it has something to do with numbers. Like, most of these units are sub 100 in size. They're getting outgunned by slightly larger coalition units, that's for sure. As Russia over here, it looks like he sent in... Did he send in Cav? Yeah. Russia sent in a Cav unit by the looks of it, and he's got mauled there. It looks like France then tried to carry on, ran into a lot of Russian infantry and more cavalry, and he's been scared off. Victor there falling back. And what have we got over here? Yeah, Victor's... Oh, he's got a cuirassier as well. It's a provisional cuirassier. It just means it's like conscripts. They're not necessarily the best well-trained in the world. But cuirassier is a cuirassier nonetheless. We've got the Young Guard Chasseurs Cheval as well. A unit we never really see, but they look gorgeous as well as their uniforms. The Young Guard, I think, have the best uniforms around for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, we've kind of missed it. As you can see here, some of the Young Guard cavalry here is charging, going after the gun emplacements over here, and they've charged straight in. They've actually managed to get these guns over here. They are going to rout, because this Russian cav is sort of, Austrian cav, sorry, is chasing these Chevaliers. I think he is trying to engage them. I think Pathfinder's just being a bit of a pain. Or maybe he's not, actually. I think, oh, he's going in for this Russian cav instead. Okay. Yeah, it didn't miss too much. They basically snuck past it. They actually won a cav fight, a couple of cav fights first, then got to the guns, and now they're being defeated. But that is the Young Guard cavalry already spent just like that. It's kind of insane. France here is kind of still pushing on, but we were already thinking at this point, do we just actually give up chasing them? Like, my guys are not, I mean, actually, these are not my guys, they're Nays. Not in position. I've got more troops back here, not really doing anything. We've got more just sort of our infantry scattered on that hill. Ledoux as well, you know, looking for options. Ledoux might get charged here, actually, needs to be careful. What is this cavalry that is sneaking up on Ledoux? Looks like dragoons, potentially, maybe Chevaliers of the Austrians there. But yeah, Ledoux turning around. I mean, you need to get a good jump on Ledoux to stand yourself a chance. Young Guard is pushing forward. I think he's shooting at routing Russians. They're definitely not in range of the Austrians. But yeah, as it kind of stands, both sides really bloodied each other up quite nastily. Victor here, I don't know what he's trying with these chasseurs, but he's trying to flank around, getting shot by Russians that are standing on top of each other. They're just freely firing each other here. You need to be careful of that. It's not a rule break, it's just killing your own men. Your allies won't appreciate it, but yeah, it also makes nice targets for these horse artillery that are setting up here. They are relimbering, and they look like they're getting out of there. And there goes a cav charge from the French going for those Jaeger. I thought they might be able to form square if they push that far forward, but maybe not. Most Russian Jaeger can, I feel like. It's one of the few squarables. There you go. Provisional Dragoons dealt with those two Jaeger units easily, and that was a big mistake, I feel like, from the Russians, just letting those get isolated and picked off. Looks like Mason's kind of coming forward once again. Russia is happy to, you know, oblige to meet him. And at this point, we were like, let's change tactics. Mortier is already sending the guard, the old guard, being sent into battle in a different direction. They're not chasing the Bavarians and the Austrians. We've seen an opportunity. If Mason here can tie down the Russians, we can just slam into the flank of them. A lot of cav already gone for the Russians, thankfully due to the young guard sacrificing its cavalry. I mean, they still got a couple, but they sent in some pretty good ones and got them killed. So yeah, so we were like, yeah, we should definitely try and hit these guys in the flank, and we'll try and seize this hill with the guns on, because they didn't quite get all the guns, did the young guard. There's still a emplacement up here. So and they just dominate. It's a brilliant hill to hold, and you can see the French lines so clearly. Just look at that, beautiful, beautiful point of view. Still more. Is there another cav fight going on here? No, they're just farming all the yeah, alright, they're just pushing on there. Russia is falling back on that flank. They're kind of giving the withdrawal orders, it seems. I mean, they could withdraw to the 4 point. They don't have to stay here now. Another cav fight looks like it's taking place on the other side now, and a general has died. We'll come and have a look at that in a second. What happened there? Lancers just... Oh, they took out an Austrian infantry unit there of some sort. What happens with the general? Allied general gone. Mason has been killed. I think we were saying... it looks like he got general sniped. I mean, yeah, there you go. Another one just hit him. He absolutely was gen sniped there, was Mason. So that is not good at all. I don't think he was firing at the infantry in front of him. I mean, even still, yeah, probably shouldn't just fire at the infantry in front of a general. Probably I would shoot some other infantry instead, just because that sort of thing happens, and it does definitely kind of look very much like a general snipe. So, yeah, not so great. For Mason there, or for France, down a general. The Allies, you know, I'd say slightly more bloody, but, you know, with a general loss is a huge thing. Austria now kind of coming back into play. They're coming forward once again. They've made up their mind. They are going to face the guard here, it seems, and Mortier again turning. We were like, well, if we're not going to make it to the Russians in time, we better deal with the Austrians. So we were like, well, we can countermarch. We're faster than all of these guys. We can march and countermarch, and we can kind of, you know, just bait one of them into getting into bayonet range. We can do some serious damage here. We're actually going to see a charge from some cavalry here. Mason's young guard of the chasseurs of the young guard. I think the sappers, yeah, forming square. I presume it's a sapper unit. It's quite a small unit. Don't know why he's charging. He should get that out of there. Unless he's going to go for the Jaeger, which, again, like I said, a bit risky to do that. But it looks like, yeah, we're going to see Mortier. He's turning his line on once again, all the grenadiers, and we're now going to go for the Austrians. We're going to go sort of between this mine here that the Allies have sent up and the Austrians, and try and just go through there, funnel our infantry through a gap, and then sort of get them into bayonet range, and then just start those bayonets twirling, while the Trilliers and the Voltigeurs here of the Young Guard just take an absolute beating from Austrian muskets. Bavaria not really yet in the game. We were honestly kind of concerned that Bavaria had gone like majority cav. They've got a lot of like militia here, which is kind of what part of their army's made up of. But Bavaria and Austria seem to have a lot of cav sniffing about, which we were, yeah, very concerned by. We have got a Jaeger, or Laguerre, sorry, just in that building, waiting. Yeah, here we go. Looks like the line fight getting underway over here. The Austrians again give ground. Again. I don't know what they're too worried about. I think the gunfights they have, more troops mobilized from them. Whether they are worried about these stacks over here, I mean, this is quite concerning. The amount of sort of like, we've got Trilliers, Voltigeurs, and the old guard all stacking up there. Whether they are concerned about, yeah, so like the pressure kind of being built up there and then breaking through there. There is cav fights going on over here. Looks like, yeah, some of these boys, I mean, they can form square. I don't know if they're going to. I think we were kind of microing elsewhere, and these Voltigeurs are going to get taken out. Yeah, that's a shame, because that's squareable, and there actually aren't many of those. Henry Rothenberg, he's actually yet to battle historically, but a combat gen there. He's kind of just watching on as his guns get sniped here. So there you go. Austria played a pretty good, bit of a blind there with the cavalry. We are going to see the Young Guard Lancers try and react. They are probably going to get the cav, but the guns are lost, and that's a horse artillery, I think, that was as well gone. So yeah, that's a shame, that's for sure. Over on the other side at Valjoun, the other village that's been fought over, still not really much going on. The Russians, you can see, bending the line really far back. If I was the French, I'd just really concentrate on this small area here. Just smash that with your with like a big column, and then you again work your way up the line. Don't have to worry about taking the building yet. That's not a priority. In my opinion, you don't need to deal with that. Here comes Bavaria, though. Finally, they were shifting their troops, it seems, behind the Austrians. They have some decent units. They are kind of a bit more on the expensive side, but you can still bring quite a lot. Maybe if you just don't go cavalry. But I think Bavaria brought at least 4, maybe 5 cavalry, which we were like, have they gone all cav? Which they could do, I think, actually. They have Austrian cav as well available in their corps. And there you go. Now it's the turn of France to fall back as Austria's set up and got his firing line good to go. Some of those Voltigeurs that routed to the cavalry, they have re-rallied. They might get charged again. And somehow Mason here is getting himself outflanked by the Russians. So this is actually dangerous because, yeah, he could equally get meleeed here. And it looks like that is about to happen. This Russian unit is not slowing down. The other guys, they're stopping. I think we're going to see, yeah, I mean, Mason's now falling back. Wise, he should do that. He needs to fall back. But there you go. He's actually routing. The 13th E Trilliers are retreating. I think a lot of these young guard that are in these divisions here, these regiments, they're all, I'm pretty sure, just like quote unquote young guard. I don't think they really are. I think they were just kind of like quickly formed regiments of the units, just to try and make it, I guess, more imposing that you're facing a young guard unit rather than a conscript unit. Here come, yeah, more of the young guard. Yeah, like I said, Nays, I think, are a bit more well-trained. We've got the chasseurs of the guard now arriving. These are good shooters. They can melee as well. They are technically down as infantry, but they definitely have some stats that a grenadier would appreciate, that's for sure. We're going to see a charge here in a moment, I think, from the Austrian cav. These guys can't form square. Russia's sort of pinning them in melee. And, yeah, I mean, he's turning his line now. He's going to try and get a volley off. And, yeah, Austria does not fancy that sort of fire. As you can see now, it's actually France on the withdrawal here. Bavaria and Austria sort of pushing back the French as they try to sort of regroup. We've kind of overcommitted and way past sort of the start lines of Victor and Mason, who are still struggling to take this town at the moment. There's still an absolute hellhole down here. I think some other units just routed. Yeah, Leguerre, I think, just gone into the building. They've routed. Russia here with a standard held high, fighting for the motherland. And at this point, I think we made the decision. We were like, we're going to just keep falling back, and we're going to try and fall back, and basically at the same time advance into the Russians. It's kind of like do or die. We're like, right, we will do this. Because, I mean, the Austrians and the Bavarians, they actually made no attempt to try and retake the building. I mean, we were like, well, we can always go and fight in the town as well, and we would take that. Certainly my guard would love a fight in the town in confined spaces with, yeah, with Austrians and Bavarians. But yeah, we made the decision. We were like, we're going to go in, we're going to hit these Russians in the side, and we're going to just basically make them bleed. And if the Austrians and the Bavarians get it, which they should do, to be honest, not that far behind, we'll put up a screen of Trilliers and maybe some other units. Maybe Ledoux might be needed to make a charge down the center here, and we'll just, you know, try and keep the Austrians on the back foot where we can. France here with overwhelming cav superiority, surprisingly. Oh, and the cuirassiers did go in. They actually did manage to break some of the Russian infantry here, and we're going to see more French infantry here go in. The Invincibles, which is a pretty good unit, just quite small compared to other sizes you can have it. The cav superiority for the French in an era where they definitely do not historically have cav superiority. We're going to see, yeah, more infantry going in here. There you go, they're going in. We're going to see cav now flanking around. The Russian cav is about to be in big danger. Here comes still all of those Voltigeurs, and we are seeing a melee take place here. It's a 2-on-1. Plus it's Imperial Guard. The French should win that. We can see the chasseurs here still move forward, actually linking up with Mason. Mason needs to keep moving forward. French cav is going in here, and it is helping to... It's actually not helping to rout any sword dragoons. They're pulling out of melee and they're going into something else, which I feel is a little bit cheesy. And there you go. Looks like Hussars here should beat the Chasseurs Cheval. Dragoons going in. And yeah, there go more Dragoons going in, charging into the Russian Dragoons. Everyone's in green. And there you go. Russia has sort of been dealt with there. And then as you see, the French are still sort of trying to plug their way through. Russians are still holding on around the town, but only just, I would say. Austria here tried to charge, so they nearly broke through. Russia's now going to send in the infantry. Now Austria should send in the cav, now that the Russian infantry has actually committed. We've got more French lancers going in here, trying to do some damage to the Russian infantry. It looks like they got them. Russian dragoons should silence these guys, though. And we are still pushing on. The guard here are going in. I think I actually got 2 units. I'm kind of stuck. I think they got countercharged as I was sort of moving them up. So I was like, I'm just going to keep moving through this this space. There's a general staff coming over to try and rally this stuff. Russia on this far flank here is on the right with the French cav being able to just support French infantry. They are breaking through. And it looks like, yeah, most of the Russians are kind of gone in front of them. We've just kind of witnessed the collapse of Russia. That left flank just kind of gave way. Charge here looks like, yeah, she says they should have formed square. Don't know if they did. Should repulse the Austrians there. Russian cav kind of looking quite dormant here. Needs to do something against that young guard. As you can see, the line fight not looking so great over here for the French. Really struggling. Farmhouse has been taken. I think that's Valjeun's been taken. And as you can see, France is giving ground. They are not liking what Austria is putting down. Russia and Bavaria here also still putting a lot of pain into the Voltigeurs. The old guard is setting up. We've got squares forming here. Chasseurs are still in square for some reason. They should not, I don't think, be in square, but I think maybe they were just concerned about other troops nearby. But yeah, Victor and Mason now can just kind of chase down some of these Russians, try and get rid of them. Looks like Russian cav is actually being sent against French cav here, try and get rid of that. It's not a bad idea. A long way to go, and you're running through a lot of routing friendlies, which is only going to upset morale of the Russian player. And yeah, he's getting out of there. He sees more French cav on the way. You can see the cuirassiers still coming forward. And there you go. The Russians managed to beat back all these Voltigeurs. General is dead. Guessing, yeah, one of the Russian players was lost there. Generally just been run down by the enemy there. That is unfortunate. And here come Austrian Grenadiers. They're going to try it. Looks like themselves a bit of a counter melee. I think it is just the one unit. I know some of the Bavarian units are technically down as melee as well, but it looks like we're going to see the Grenadiers, the Guard, get into melee very soon here. Fire when ready, boys. Fire when ready. Do what damage you can. I mean, they can shoot pretty well from the old Guard. They just, you don't really want to be shooting with them. They're kind of a precious commodity. It looks like the young Guard Lancers of it finally might get this Russian gun. The Russian cav is still sort of holding on to that cliff face. Like hilltop, whatever you want to call it. But generally in behind here, Mortier, he's just casually getting shot probably, I can imagine. And here we go. In goes the Guard. They've actually countercharged the Guard. Kind of let them charge me, which I was kind of fine with actually. And we side charge anyway with the Chasseurs. Route that Grenadier. That's the one Austrian Grenadier gone. Just Austrian line infantry now to deal with. Some of the cheap Laguerre I brought, just the chaff, they are starting to suffer, but here come the Guard. Grenadiers going over the second. And in there you go. Looks like the other Austrian unit broken here. We're going to see the Guard go, the Chasseurs of the young Guard. Looked like they were going to go, but since changed their mind. Ney has shifted down the line. He's actually dealing with the Austrians and the Bavarians over here. Bavaria has so many troops that they can just flank around. Kind of insane. Troops routing. Some of that chaff, the Laguerre is disappearing there. The Grenadiers of the old Guard twirling those bayonets. Killing those Bavarians, routing quite a few of them. I don't know if any of these guys can melee that well. Even if they can, they're facing the French old Guard. Here come the young Guard Chasseurs. They've got. I don't think they even engaged that Russian cavalry there. They've just gone in here, and they go for a general. Mason is going to try and get the Bavarian general. He's routed him. You can kill him. That'd be great. Bavarians here, kind of holding their own, inflicting damage onto my Guard. That's for sure. I definitely at this point was kind of suffering from micro, I'd say, because I was kind of busy elsewhere as well. I was trying to get Ledoux into play somewhere. I think we're going to try and charge in a moment here at this very much open line with the Austrians. Here we go. Here comes Ledoux. We're going to see them charge, and a square is formed, actually. Of all the units they can charge, they actually found a square, but look at the numbers drop there. My gosh, yeah, lost like 20 riders there. Redlining is Ledoux. I mean, it's quickly got over that. What was for a minute? Redlining, this is insane. General's dead. I think that is, yeah, the Bavarian one. He's actually just been killed off. And in response, the Austrians are just going to gun down the unit responsible for doing that, the Young Guard Chasseurs. As you can see, the front line for the Bavarians, I mean, they've broken some stuff. They've broken the Grognards, which is insane. They absolutely smashed some of these guys. But yeah, I think also didn't help with micro, and also some Russian cav I think got involved. So that's how they've helped break some of these units. But yeah, the Grognard's down to like 42 guys. Looks like cavalry went in over here. We managed to hold it off. I don't know how. These guys did square. But we managed to hold it off. But it's looking quite tenuous on this right flank here. I mean, I think the battle is done. Mortier and Mason are free. Another general's died there. I think it's a Russian general who's gone, yeah. Holding out on this hill where his cannons have been most of the game. Austria still has his general. Mason doesn't have a general, you've got to remember that. So that's obviously a bit of a downside as well. I mean, Austria's actually kind of gunning these Portuguese quite nicely. Look at this. And there you go. Finally, Ledoux's going to get some joy. Actually, there's another grenadier of Austria, and it's also able to form square. He's managed to have some joy. He's managed to... I went for basically the unit along from the one that's square. Like, well, I'll just kill that one. Truly is. They're meleeing. And we're going to see a charge here. I mean, it's Bavarian cavalry against Ledoux. Ledoux wins that every day of the week. There you go. Ledoux wins, and now he can sort of go into the back of all these Austrians and go for the Austrian general as well, if he wants to. He's redlining himself. We are having, yeah, some real problems here with sort of like some of this front line. They're getting right in our face. I mean, France has actually managed to get his Young Guard Chasseur in behind as well, just looping around a bit, like what Ledoux's doing right now. He's getting into all these Bavarian militia. There we go, yep. Looks like we're going to see one final assault here from the French. Henry Rothenburg in that front line there, battling with some Hungarians. Grenadier, I mean, I think I played a pretty poor game as Mortier, to be honest. Certainly, yeah, Ledoux, I mean, he's definitely not got huge kills, and he's down to 62 troops. Definitely was not a great use. Better use here of him, though, getting some good hammer and anvil supported by Young Guard. That'll certainly help his KD a little bit there. And this is an artillery piece here. We've got a horse artillery piece here that is... I don't know if that's been wheeled up to just blast the Austrians. It might be. And yeah, I think that's all the Austrians pretty much gone on that sort of front there. They've got the general and some artillery left on this flank here. But we're just going to fast forward a little bit, and we'll see what happens. I actually got some dragoons there. Look like they're going to get the Austrians. Whether they'll be able to get everything else, I do not know. Young Guard Chasseurs and various of the cavalry still alive, so they can get some quite easily run down this gun before it'll do any damage. I think the general there has been taken out as well by Young Guard Chasseurs.
Your men have been routed, sir.
What are my men routing? I think it's friendly fire at this point. What are they routing from? What are you routing from, cowards? Yeah, Chasseurs the Guard. They've done such a good job. My army is beat. There's like not a lot left. That's for sure. I like I said, I think I played quite a poor game, to be honest. Did not preserve the guard at all. I think if we'd had a much closer game, I would have expended myself a little too early, that's for sure. And yeah, it's still just another Austrian gun back there. Bavarian Schutzen there. I think the only unit I still have alive, yeah, and it's healthy, is these Fusilier Grenadiers, actually middle guard troops, which I never use. Fusilier Grenadiers, it's a shame. No, don't have to see the middle guard in action, but yeah, there you are. Need to move forward, need to be careful not to shoot nay. We'll just keep fast forwarding now. And yeah, it looks like the Battle of Mormant is going to be historical like it was, well, in real life. The French are going to win, and the coalition are going to be defeated here today. Certainly more losses, though, than in history. That's for sure. I imagine there's more than 2,500 to 3,000 dead coalition on this field here today. We'll have a quick look at the end results in a moment. And yeah, there you go. They should be on your screen there for you. So yeah, I was playing as Mortier in this one. Well done to everyone else who was on the French side. There was a few. I think we certainly had one new player. Did a really good job as Victor, and then yeah, well done to all the coalition as well. Certainly, I would say it's a hard one to play, since there was a bit of a foot race to the LOCs, and the French kind of always going to win that foot race. But otherwise, if we don't do it like that, we're not really going to have a historical sort of scenario. Actually, I think the Red Lancers are here, just about to charge in right at the end. So they might be in Mason's call rather than in Nays. Yeah, hopefully you've had a good look at those end results. So we'll have a quick look at some of the kills. Ledoux actually did get 275 kills. I don't know if they were all from if he did a bit of farming or what. But yeah, 275 kills. The Grognard's 207 kills, 200 kills with the Chasseurs. Grenadiers, second E, getting 156. Second E again, getting 141. Laguerre, I was actually really impressed with some of my cheap Laguerre, getting 138 kills. Outscoring, yeah, more of the Chasseurs and one of the Grognard units as well. So yeah, not a bad result for them, that is for sure. But yeah, I would certainly say I think I've had a better Mortier games, but it certainly is one of my favourite cores to play. That's for sure, is 1814 Guard, and just kind of like, you know, be the sledgehammer for French armies in that period. It really is cool. But there you go, guys. That is the Battle of Mormant. If you enjoyed and want to see more NTW3 action, if your appetite for black powder is not yet sustained, check out some of the videos appearing on your screen now. Some great ones there. And until next time, folks, I'll see you around. Adios.